What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very quick update about the stock market. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. Anyways, guys, for the weekend, I just want to inform everyone that I'm going to be kind of busy. I might not be available to record a video tomorrow, so I will for sure be back on Monday before market open. And if I do record a video tomorrow, it's going to likely be very late, so we'll see. I am going on a very long road trip in a couple of hours, so I just wanted to inform everyone about that. Don't panic in case if I'm not around tomorrow. But anyways, as far as the market's going, I just want to give you guys a very quick update about what's going on so far. As you guys know, there's lots of tension between Elon Musk and President Trump. Trump just said that his relationship with Elon Musk is over. And then on top of this, he also said that Elon Musk is going to be facing a lot of consequences, very serious consequences, if he funds the Democratic candidates. So, right now, the feud is just continuing between these two men. They're two of the most powerful men on the planet, and it's absolutely insane. We also have some more things that were said by President Trump yesterday evening. He mentioned that he's not interested in talking to Elon Musk, although he says Musk wants to talk to him. So Musk and Trump were scheduled to speak to one another yesterday in the daytime, but then President Trump said he's just not interested in speaking to Elon. He claims that Elon wants to speak to him. This is what's been happening after they had a very long feud on Twitter, which is still technically going on, right? It all started off with the spending bill, which Elon Musk does not agree upon, and then they started to eventually disagree, and things got more and more tense as we started to see more threats on both sides, right? Elon Musk has been just saying that Trump wouldn't be where he is without Elon. Trump is saying that he wants to cut a lot of funding when it comes to Tesla subsidies. It's just insane. So, with more things said by President Trump, he claims that prices are going down, incomes are rising, inflation has stabilized, and we need to see a rate cut. He said that yesterday. He also mentioned that after the feud, when it comes to him and Elon Musk speaking, he once again said that he's not interested in speaking to Musk at the moment. And then Elon Musk suggests that President Trump should be impeached and replaced by JD Vance. So very tense stuff so far. I mean, there's more details to this. I just want to remind you all there's a lot of details to this. I'm not going to go over everything in this video. I went over this for the last 2 days. Just look at my previous video if you guys want more details. But I'm just going to be very clear about that. And then President Trump made a lot of claims about inflation and also Jerome Powell. So he started speaking about Powell yesterday during his speech. He said that if inflation comes back, then the Fed will have a reason to hold rates as they are and raise them. So President Trump actually said that. And he's saying that right now we are not seeing that. He's saying that inflation has stabilized. And President Trump has encouraged Jerome Powell to implement a full point rate cut. He's saying that because inflation is looking good, because prices are going down, according to President Trump, he thinks that Jerome Powell should cut rates. Now, keep in mind, prices are not actually going down. Inflation is, as of right now, at a lower rate, which means that the rate at which prices are going up is what's slowing down. So I want to just clarify that. Then he said that President Trump said that's too late. Powell at the Fed should cut rates. Europe has done 10 rate cuts. Jerome Powell is late as usual. He also said that we should reduce the interest rates on debt coming due to very soon. And then he went on about that. He's saying borrowing costs should be much lower. So that's what President Trump was just ranting about yesterday. Elon Musk then said that he thinks that a new political party is needed in America to represent the 80% in the middle, and that he is not happy with President Trump either. President Trump didn't continue to speak about Musk yesterday during the afternoon. He just continued to talk about Jerome Powell. He started to talk about how if we had a good Fed chair, he would lower rates. And then he said that he's open to electing a new Fed chair once Jerome Powell's term ends. So now President Trump is threatening to get rid of Jerome Powell and replace him. And then he also said that he's going to look into everything and they may consider cutting Elon Musk's government contracts. So he actually said that. So that's what I'm seeing on his transcript, at least so far. Today, I haven't heard as much from President Trump besides what I already talked about, how he's threatening Elon Musk if he ends up supporting the Democratic candidates. And he also said his relationship with Elon is over. So that's the latest update so far. President Trump also said that Elon Musk has disrespected the office of the U.S. president. So he repeated that over again. So President Trump is not happy. He's really, really angry at Elon Musk now, and the feud is just continuing. So that's the latest update on him. He's also very unhappy with Jerome Powell. He wants to see him cut rates, but he did mention that in case we do see inflation go up again, then what Jerome Powell is doing is justified. So President Trump did account for that during his speech yesterday. But he just said that like in one sentence. He had like another 20 sentences against Jerome Powell and what he's doing. So that's the latest update. Besides that, there was some big news that came out. President Trump and his team are saying that there's going to be negotiations with China. Him and Melania Trump were invited to China to meet up with Xi Jinping and many other important leaders. And then President Trump said that he invited Xi Jinping to the White House as well. And then on top of this, President Trump announced that there's going to be a lot of negotiations on Monday. So this Monday, we have the U.S. trade officials who are going to be negotiating with Chinese officials on trade. If there's a big update, that could cause a lot of volatility for the markets. So anyways, let's go over the chart real quick. So SPY has a rising wedge, as you guys could tell. I still think we're looking bullish, but I can't promise if this move is going to last forever because rising wedges do eventually lead to big sell-offs. But as of right now, if you want to see a big sell-off on SPY, you need to see us lose 595 or below to start dumping. There's no sign of that yet, so we're still looking a bit more bullish. So this may continue to push for the 600s, but then we'll see if we eventually lose 595 to start dipping to fill this gap back down to 593 or below. It depends on how this wedge ends up looking. For the time being, we're bullish. There's no sign of a big rejection or a break below 595 as of the time I'm recording this video on Saturday afternoon. So I just want to say that we're still bullish at the time I'm recording this. We'll see what news comes out tomorrow or on Monday. And then keep in mind, it's a rising wedge. So although we could continue to uptrend, you want to be careful in the future. The higher we go, the riskier it becomes. As long as SPY is above 598, we're favoring the 600s. If we lose 595, we could turn back down, but we're still looking a bit more bullish. On the QQQ, we're looking bullish, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. As long as we don't lose this blue trend line around this 525 area to start dumping back down to 520, we're favoring 532 and all the way back up towards 535. We look more bullish. So I anticipate that on Monday, as of right now, we're favoring this upside move. There is this gap over here at 525 in case we get a rejection. There's a slight bearish divergence developing, but there's no sign of rejection. We still look a bit more bullish unless we lose this blue trend line or if we get some very bad news. At the time I'm recording this, Saturday afternoon, there's no bad news to really dump the markets yet. So we still favor upside for now. So make sure you watch your levels. If we lose 525, I turn more bearish. And as long as we're above 530, we're favoring 535 as our target, looking more bullish right now. The Russell 2000 looks more bullish, rising wedge, higher highs and higher lows. As long as we don't end up losing this support over here where the blue trend line is at 210 to start dipping back down to 207, we look bullish. We could see some consolidation like this, but then I'm favoring a push towards 214 and then eventually to higher levels. So we still look bullish for now. ES needs to hold above 6,000. So long as 6,000 holds, we have a cup and handle like structure. If we hypothetically end up losing 59.50 to 50 EMA, there's going to be a risk of us returning to these lows over here for a big rejection. As long as 6,000 holds, we are favoring 6,050 or above. On NQ, as long as we don't lose 21,500, we're favoring 22,000 as our target, but it also depends on how well we hold above 21,800. As long as 21,800 holds, we're looking for 22,000. If 21,500 dumps, we're going to be looking for a big move down. We're still favoring the upwards direction. On Bitcoin, we're looking bullish. So long as we don't lose 104,800, we're favoring 106,800 next as we look a bit more bullish off this inverse head and shoulders. So 107,000 or around there could be coming. Tesla's looking decent. We might see a bounce attempt. It already dumped so hard. But of course, this depends on what happens between Elon Musk and President Trump. The reason why the market dumped so hard was because, number one, President Trump was threatening to cut the EV mandate and also cut some of Elon Musk's contracts and subsidies for Tesla. That was bad news for Tesla. Secondly, you have to remember that when Elon Musk had a good relationship with President Trump, he had a hand in the White House, right? He had, President Trump in his pockets to some extent, because that would benefit the development of robotaxi. With a lot of regulations that come out, it makes it harder for Tesla to really launch things as fast. President Trump wanted to deregulate the robotaxi, which would have allowed Tesla to launch it much faster. So when Elon Musk had a good relationship with President Trump, the investors love that because they know that the robotaxi is said to be the bigger catalyst, bringing in billions of dollars in revenue. And it's also a trillion, if not multi-trillion dollar business. So with the news that came out that Musk is having this feud with President Trump. Not the best of news for Tesla. That's another reason why we dumped the way we did. Now, it is possible Tesla comes down to fill this gap, but I want to see it hold 285 and make a higher low compared to this low. As long as we do that, we could be looking for a bounce back up to 310. If we don't hold 285, we could be dipping back down towards these lows. I could see a small dip before it tries to bounce here, but I still think there's potential to bounce on Tesla and get back up to 310 as long as we hold support. Don't forget, it depends on the news, but that's what I'm seeing for now. Nvidia is making higher highs and higher lows. If we end up losing 137, we're looking for a dump to about 132. But if we end up breaking 144, we're looking bullish. We're looking like we're going to consolidate for some time like this. Then we could be looking for a breakout higher if that breaks. That's what I'm seeing for now, as there's some upside potential. On Aapl, there's a cup and handle. If you break past 207, we're looking for a push for basically 210. If we end up losing 201, we're looking for a dump. I could see a push towards 207. We'll have to see how it goes from there. So we're doing a fantastic job, at least thus far. For AMD, I'm going to skip over a lot of these tickers. I do apologize about that, guys. I have very, very limited time today. But I will be back for sure on Monday, maybe on Sunday, depending on what time I return from my trip, by the way. So I'm sorry if I don't go over every ticker in this video. AMD, as long as we're above 114, we're favoring an attempt to get up to 118. If 114 fails, still we could be tipping to the imbalance towards 110. There's a nice double bottom setup. It does look like it might try to push a little bit higher for the time being, especially if we get some good news with the Chinese negotiations. I am concerned about Coinbase. There's a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder here. We need to break and hold above 253 at the very least, hold above that to push higher. If we can't, there's a gap to fill at the low 240s. And if that fails us, we're looking for a dump towards 230 or below to start turning back down. So we'll see if the head and shoulders pans out or not. On Amazon's also looking very interesting. We're actually making higher lows here with a nice accumulation. This is technically bullish with an inverse head and shoulders. So long as we don't lose 206 on Amazon and then eventually 199, if we don't lose those two supports, we're looking bullish with an inverse head and shoulders, favoring a breakout towards this 220 area. Amazon is looking more bullish heading into next week, at least from a technical standpoint. It also depends on the Chinese negotiations that are coming out from the Trump administration. How do those go? If we get some good news, we could launch Amazon higher. Meta is going to be testing 700. If we hold above this, we're looking for like 710. If it doesn't hold 700, we're looking for a dip back down to 680. We still look more bullish. Google's looking more bullish, looking at the setup as we're making higher lows. We could be looking for 177. If that breaks, we're looking for 180. And if we lose 170, we're looking for a dump back down to 167. We're still looking a bit more bullish as of right now. Microsoft looks bullish. We have 465 and 459 as our main two supports. As long as we're above those, we're technically favoring 475. We still look more bullish. The VIX also looks bearish, which is a good sign for bulls, but we'll see if the VIX is developing a falling wedge. So for the time being, yes, right now we are looking bullish for the market and bearish for the VIX, but the VIX also has a falling wedge developing. There will eventually come a time when this breaks out higher to fill this gap up here, and the market will get a rug pull eventually, but we're not ready at the time I'm recording this. We're still looking bullish, so get ready for some consolidation, then upside on SPY for 600 plus, at least temporarily. Then we'll see if we get a rug pull later on as we still have a rising wedge. So for now, the wedge is pushing us higher. We could still go higher for the time being. Rising wedges basically mean that we're bullish temporarily. We start pushing higher, and eventually there's that bearish move. As of right now, that's what I'm favoring. So I thank you all so much for listening. We'll see what happens with the market. Pay attention to the news on Sunday in case there's something else that changes these levels in analysis. But for now, we look bullish and we're favoring upside at the time of recording this. I'll be back maybe tomorrow evening if I'm back in time. If not, for sure on Monday before the market opens, for sure I'll be back. So I'll see you guys very soon. Enjoy your guys' weekends and peace out.